Come back in, guys. Sorry. Um, my problems are many, guys. You'll have to forgive me. Come back in. Ah, if the volume decides to behave, the the network decides to go off. Guys, come back in. Come back in. We're still going on with this. Um, okay, I thought I had set the music. That's the trash truck. Come to collect trash. Mm, let me see. So, guys, share the stream. Come back in if you're able to. I will appreciate it. Is the one misbehaving since I seem to have the sound on properly. But you know, we're not giving up, yeah? This time we are doing this. Hmm. So, guys, we had just gone over the acronym for purpose. I don't know if you guys will be able to check it out in the other one. I had to restart the stream. It's very annoying. I was so sure today wouldn't be having any of that headache. So, yeah, let's see if we can have a little music that's going to hold us while I just make sure everything is on as it should. I actually have to be very conscious now that I'm trying to be very conscious that I'm selecting attribution not required because I don't know what that was that happened. There's a possibility that maybe out here I really do not believe that the wind would be an issue, but anyway, let me make sure I selected attribution not required, yes, and inspirational. Yeah. So I actually thought it was very nice of them the way when I went to check on the pop-up, there was a note. I mean, YouTube had put a suggestion like, do we just cut out the part because it was just one song. I had played several, so yeah. So I'm first going to be off that. I'd rather just these tunes because you see that one has some that have words. You might want to just have words in the background of a tune, something like that. But if it's going to be such a big deal, really, there's no point. So I just said yes. I just selected yes, and they trimmed out that part. And when I played it back, it didn't even sound that crazy, so I just left it. So come on in, guys. We're live. I'll be back in a minute. Hi, Selvins. How are you? Selvin's Kitchen is in the house. I'm good, and you? I thought I just saw you live. You finished yours. I had seen like you were live a few minutes ago. I don't know, maybe I saw wrong. Maybe it was earlier. You're welcome. You're welcome. Share me out if you can. Selvins has a very nice cooking channel. They make some very quick recipes that are so nice. I can't wait to try some of them. I saw some that looked really nice. So I was telling you guys that a purpose will cause you to unite. No, it will cause you to spend more time in prayer. It will cause you to unite, but we're still on the first one when I suddenly saw some funny fluctuations. So, um, your purpose will cause you to spend more time in prayer because you're dealing with something that's so much bigger than you. Of course, you're going to seek a higher being. You will want God's help in order to, what? To be able to tackle it. If you're supposed to start some really massive business or project, or and maybe it's something you've never done before, you might be having is just an interest in it. Of course you're going to be overwhelmed, and that's how it should be, because you don't want to grow. You don't want to just do things that don't challenge you at all. If you can do it on your own, it's probably too small, you know so it's too small for you. You need um you need something that's going to be really challenging for you. So a purpose will also cause you to unite, cause like you will want to find guys who've done this thing you're doing. you know you'll want to know who's good in this field, who's been there, who can help me know the challenges, who can give me ideas on how to do this. So it will cause you to unite. A good example of this is found in Genesis at the time of building the Tower of Babel. You see how guys came together and built it, and it went so high until intervention had to, you know, be put in to kind of pause them. Their progress was a bit too fast. So the second stone was counting the cost that we talked about yesterday. After you've checked your course, or after we've checked our course, you need to pick up the second stone, which is counting the cost. What is this project going to cost you? What is it? What do you have to put in? You'll feel like and I was saying, I remember mentioning that it's going to be a lonely road because you'll have friends saying, "Ah, you're too young. How can you take over? How can you take up such a project? You're too inexperienced. What do you know about that issue?" You know. So before any great accomplishment is done, before you actually get out and carry it out in purpose, in reality, you have to believe it in your heart. That's the challenge. You have to believe it in your heart. That is how. That's how you're ever going to be able to actually carry it out or start it, because it has to be such a conviction that you can't ignore it. So criticism will be there a lot, and so will so will loneliness. You know, loneliness is going to be there. So the third one now, all of that was an intro, a recap of yesterday. So the third one is charting your course. How exactly are you going to go about this thing? What steps will you take? Hmm? Anyone who has a really big goal in mind knows the trauma that comes with announcing it to guys. When you tell people this big thing that you have that you're planning to do, you know how it is. You know how guys respond and look at you like you're crazy. Yeah. First of all, it goes you go through some sort of emotional struggle because when it takes a lot of courage to be able to express to people who are possibly naysayers and unbelievers this thing that you feel is so, you know, so true. There's a bee circulating me right here. Oh my, I'd forgotten. So, um, you will require to give yourself the first pep talk. You know, convince yourself that this thing can actually work, and convince yourself that you don't need to care about what anybody else is saying. Yeah, because the moment you commit yourself to a big project, your statements will be tested. Others will try to mock you and show you how it can't work. Many people around you will be expressing their doubts. So, when you haven't said it, there's nothing to challenge. There's nothing to be challenged. It's just you and yourself and your quiet dream. But guys, and then as soon as you tell them, once they see that they can't dissuade you, the next thing they'll do is they'll want to be the ones telling you how you're going to do it. You know the irony of life. Yeah. Can you relate? They'll see we can't talk this person out of them out of this idea. So let me give them my opinion on how I think it should be done. Now all of a sudden the naysayers and the doubters want to be the advisors of the same project which they knew or they was trying to show you can't do, right? So that's what you're going to expect. They'll try to put their armor on you, like what David was told. He was told, go carry this big shield, carry this whatnot, the normal attire that people wear when they're going to war. But for him, he had gone through this thing. He had charted his course and he thought it through and he knew what he was going to do. He knew he needed the least things because when he was given that garment where it was oversized, it was this big metal shield of a thing which in fact he could hardly move in. So there's no way that was going to work for him, right? Yeah. So that is people telling you how they think you should do your project. It is your purpose, but they are telling you it's them putting their armor on you. So You need to be able to listen to anyone, because you can actually learn something from close to everybody in life. So listen, by all means listen. Many times these people who are advising you are not your juniors. Guys who have an opinion on how you should do things and run your life will probably be older people than you, or your peers, your age mates, people you have respect for. So listen to them. Listen to them. But only take seriously a person who has invested in your cause. There could be someone who's really committed themselves. It could be they've financed a project, a dream or something, your dream, or they could have invested a lot of their time, so that you can see they have something to lose when they're telling you, do this and do it this way. I think this can work. They're right in there with you. But not guys who are watching from far, who have no commitment in the issue, but they want to be the ones to tell you how you're going to do everything, right? So let me give you guys a breather. Take two while you listen to some music. I'll be right back. Right back. I don't understand what this weather is like. It's breezy and then it's hot and then so I'm going to remove some layers, but I can't completely remove the jacket because it's still chilling. Welcome. Hi. So, um, we're saying how their guys were very ready to tell you what to do from the background. They're not investing anything. They're not, in the fire with you. So it becomes very difficult to actually listen to such people. There's another acronym here. Rather, it's called acrostic, I think. For planning ahead when you get ready to tackle all your Goliaths. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to reduce the music. Uh, yeah, so this is plan ahead. Yeah, it spells plan ahead. So the P is predetermine your course of action. You plan ahead, predetermine your course of action. Exactly what is it that you're going to do? Yeah, know what it is you want to accomplish. Way ahead, way ahead. Let me just pause the music so that in case there's any drama and they have to remove all the parts with music, I'll still be left with the places I've spoken. It's very crazy. I really like having music in the background, and I'll eventually find out the sites that I can use that I think you have to pay for, but it's worth it. It's worth having some nice music that no one's going to come after you for, yeah? So P is predetermine your course of action. Determine what you want to accomplish, yeah? Like in this case of David, who we are using as our example, his course of action, he knew what he wanted was to kill Goliath. So he knew he wanted to take Goliath. Once you determine your course of action, L, we're spelling out plan ahead. The L is for lay out your goals. It's not going to be a hidden thing. Yeah. Ask yourself, how do I want to achieve this? What do I need to do to get to my goal? Yeah. Think of your course of action as an umbrella. That's your main purpose. Then set goals that will enable you to accomplish your purpose. If you know this is what you want to do, say A, I will do this, that's going to head me towards that direction. B, I need to go and buy this and this and this, some items that I'm going to use that are going to help me in my course, such things. Yeah. So in the case of David, his was he got himself a slingshot and his stones, which is the armor he used, and he actually succeeded, as crazy as it sounded, right? Then thirdly, adjust your priorities. That's the A for plan. This is critical because after you've determined your course of action and laid out your goals, like this is what I want to do and this is how I'm planning to go about it. This is how I want to approach it. Now, your course of action is what comes next because you will have things that you'll have to put aside your priorities now change because you become single focused on this thing that you need to do. This thing that you need to get done is the only thing that you're prioritizing at this point. You know, then the N stands for notifying key personnel. What is that? In David's case, he went to King Saul and he said, "This is what I'm planning to do. This is how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to go and attack this giant that is disturbing the whole country, and I'm going to go after him in this way." And of course, we know that the king was like, "Oh my goodness, this small boy, he has no idea what he's getting into. Let's give him all our weapons." He was gotten for a sword. I guess the king meant well, but maybe what someone wants to give you is not what you require for your journey, for your purpose. Yes? So that is N, notifying key personnel. Then for ahead, the A is for allowing time for acceptance. You see, after you've done all of the other things, the planning, the 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 what the plan stands for. After you've done all those things, you need to give yourself time to accept that this is what you're going to do. It's really not easy. It's not that easy. Remember, you're talking about a goal that's much bigger than you. It's a goal that's bigger than ourselves. So it's not going to be easy. You must give yourself time to accept. The world is not used to defeating giants. You know, the more difficult and harder the project is, the harder it's going to be for guys to accept. And you see, you need to tell people because they have their place. They're knowing about it has its place in your purpose. So you need to give them time. The more crazy it sounds, the more time they're going to need. It's not time for them to convince you or to change your mind. It's for them to accept and for it also to sink in for you to some extent, right? So, um, if you find like the vast amount of people who you talk to or who you value, whose opinions you cherish, find it very easy to accept your goal or they think not really much of them. It could be that maybe they're a bit too small, they're too realistic. It's so normal, it's so easy to get them within. You don't need anything special. There's nothing supernatural you're calling for. You could be needing to make bigger goals, if that's the case. Maybe you need to reach higher. Yeah. And then the E is to expect problems. Ha! Don't we know? Expect problems. The bigger the project, the bigger the problem. The greater the giants. Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. It's always like that. Yeah. If you're having too much of an easy time achieving your goal, that goal is too small. That goal is too. It should challenge you and make you sweat and maybe keep you up at night and give you a really hard time, and then you'll be like, okay, there must be something really powerful behind this project that's costing me so much. Yeah. Don't let problems surprise you though, because if you're doing anything worth doing, it should cost you. It should bring problems. You should have a hard time, sadly, but it's true. Yeah. So then there's A. Always point to success. You're going to have guys always telling you about failure and directing you towards no, 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 that one can't work out. No, don't try that. Don't use that. Don't even start. No, always be positive. Ah, I moved the layers. Now the wind will carry me. But I really like sitting out here. You know, I love it out here. The winds, the breeze, and the plants, and all of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. I always think of how I'm going to make this place really beautiful, and I need to do what I'm telling you guys about and actually put it into action because I have thoughts, many in my head, but haven't put them down yet. Yeah, yeah, I will. I will. Okay, so step number 4. Oh, sorry, D. Plan ahead. The last one is D. D is daily review your plan. Oh my goodness, this one is so key, guys, because with all this stuff coming at you, it is so easy to lose focus. It's very, very easy to lose focus. So check your position every day. Every day, wake up and check. Am I on track? Am I still doing this thing the way I want to? No. Have I lost track of my goals? Yeah. Or you might find that the strategy that you used yesterday, today is not working. Or you need to there's a word I'm looking for. Tweak. You need to tweak it a little bit here and there. Huh? Yeah. So always check on a daily. Check and review that you're still, you know, you're still on track. And stone number 4 is consider your Christ. Consider your Christ. What does that mean? When David was going for that mission, he didn't just jump up and dash off and huh? Just know him is okay. Yeah? No. He involved Christ. There's actually a difference between positive thinking and positive faith. You might think that because you're just thinking it, yeah. David said to the Philistine, "You come to me with a sword, a spear, and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you taunted." Okay, whom you taunted. This day the Lord will deliver you up into my hands, and I will strike you down and remove your head from you. And it goes on to tell him how and all those things and into details. And you can imagine this giant, what you're thinking. This tiny boy, what with the nerve, you know. Yeah. So that's the difference between positive thinking and positive faith. When you actually make a statement and you're telling the thing, so if it's like telling people, that is faith. Now, because you put yourself on the line. When it's a thought, it's easier. Nobody can challenge you and say, huh. You know? Yeah. So consider your Christ. You can't even imagine. There's this verse in yeah, in Ephesians 3:20. I can do all things. Yeah, through Christ. He is able to do exceedingly abundantly above that which we ask or even imagine or think. So you can imagine, Christ, God, wants to do way more. That thing that you think is way up there and so unrealistic and crazy, it's not yet. You haven't reached where He wants. There's still way more. There's still way more that He wants to do for you. So that is stone number 4, considering your Christ. Stone 5 is charge your challenge. Charge your challenge. Yeah. If you want to be effective, charge your challenge. Go for it. Oh, you see, David ran towards. I thought I was alone in this area, so I'm wondering. So he he ran towards Goliath. Yeah, you're not scared of this challenge. Yes, it's overwhelming and it might be large, but those the things that are worth taking over hmm, cannot be conquered in timidity. You have to be bold and go for them like, yes, I know this thing looks crazy. By the way, can you guys see this? Let me show you. You see, you see this swelling. Like this other side isn't there. Yeah, it's on my cheekbone, but this is a mosquito. Are any of you guys like me? I don't know if I think I have some kind of allergy. I swell like crazy. Oh my goodness, it's insane. Small bites, and I'll be swollen here for. I use repellent, but there are times when it doesn't work. I can apply the lotion and it still doesn't work. Yeah. So charging your challenge. Why we need to kill these giants in our lives is because there are people who you are an example for. There are guys you're leading, and if you haven't killed your own giant, they can never kill theirs. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine there are actually people who are counting on you and what you're going to do in your life to be able to, you will motivate them to be able to do things in their own life. Like now, for instance, let's say there's a leader who fears stuff. Yeah, you know that if this leader is afraid, all his people are afraid. You get the yeah yeah. So it doesn't matter even if you're a housewife, you're a leader in your home, you're a leader for those kids, you're a leader for your family. So like now, for instance, let's say you hear a sound outside and you're terrified and your terror shows. I'm one of those people who really hates going out in the night, but like when my son was young, if there was anything that needed boldness, I would face up to it. I would go out and look and try to handle this thing because I have to. I'm the leader in that instance, you see. And if now I show fear, if I'm so terrified, what will the poor child do? You understand? So face it on, even if it's. Let me give you an example of just recently. Just the other day, an insect entered Eric's eye. Recently, Eric is fully grown. He's an adult. He's not a child. So he rubbed it. He was just strolling. I think he had taken a stroll to the shop, and he's pretty tall. So I think he has that a lot. They enter his eyes quite often. But this one now, when he rubbed his eye, you know how usually when you get a small insect, your first instinct is like to rub it if you're not near water where you can rinse it out. So he rubbed it, and for some reason, it lodged itself in this bit here. You know the front part of your eye. It went and fixed itself in there. It got under that membrane. So when he got back, he told me, ah, my eye is really stinging. You know, in fact, it was red, it was bloodshot, and he was like, this eye, can you have a look at this eye for me? Because I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what. There was an insect that just passed, and I rubbed it, and it came out, but I don't know why it's feeling like that. And I told him, yeah, it's actually red. Splash some water inside. I was cooking. So when I finished, I could see he's still holding it closed eye and trying to do his things with one eye. And I asked him, ah, this thing is still the thing is still bothering you? And he was like, yeah, it's in fact it's really stinging. It's inaniwasha. That in Kiswahili is it's stinging like crazy. So I told him, okay, let me have a look. So he came, we got a cotton bud, we used an earbud and we tried like okay, let's see if we can be able to remove it. Because I told him, ah, if it doesn't come out with water, this thing we're going to just pluck it out just now. Yeah. So huh? I tried, it was there. It was just moving more. So when I asked him now, sit down, let me try and see this thing nicely. It was stuck. It had kind of gotten into the eye in the membrane. It was really strange. So I think when he rubbed it, it stuck inside. So now I looked at that thing and I was like, oh my goodness. What, because when he looked at himself in the mirror, he couldn't really see, but you're saying it's like this thing is stuck. Isn't it coming out? I told him, ah, yeah, it looks like it's kind of stuck, but let me check. Yeah, let me see how it looks. Ah, hi Angela, how are you? You're welcome. How are you doing? So I told him, let me look. So he sat down. In fact, he lay on the sofa and I tried using a cotton bud, didn't work. I tried using a damp piece of tissue, nothing, and I could see it's really stuck. So I told him, okay, now what we're going to do here, how you're advised, you shouldn't try and remove objects from the eye yourself. But I thought, okay, because it's not glass, it's not what, it doesn't look like it can be that harmful. Let me just try and really, add a little pressure. Huh? So that's what I did, and it was not easy. At some point, I asked myself, "Oh my goodness, what if I destroy this guy's eye?" We eventually managed to. I managed to pull it out, but in fact, I used my finger. Now I just had to clean it properly and just use because it was getting pulled a bit and then dragging back in. It's like membrane, yeah, in this corner part of the eye. So it was like stretching. Hmm? Ah, it was really crazy. But yeah, so that incident, you can hear me. Thank you so much. That's great to know. Yeah, you know my issues. Yeah, you know my issues. In fact, I restarted this thing. I've actually restarted it. You know, I've restarted it already. So you missed one restart. Yeah. So anyway, that's Angie. You guys, you can connect to her. She's not a YouTuber, but she's a good friend. So that's one of the instances where I had to brace myself up. You know, So we have many of those, especially now in areas that are less friendly. You see, like that was a home issue, but it did require me putting my courage. Yeah, yeah. So it's that type of a thing. It's that kind of a thing. Now in a more, of course, advanced, yeah, method. Yeah. So that is charging your challenge. Stone number 5. What is happening to my net again? Tell you the challenge. Okay. So those are the 5 stones. Let me read something for you here. In the 1900 Olympics, Irving Baxter, I hope I pronounced that well. Irving Baxter jumped 6 feet 2 inches. People said the impossible barrier was 7 feet. No one could ever jump over 7 feet. No one. How? Then a guy by the name of Fosbury figured out that high jumpers were jumping the wrong way over the bar. Yeah. They shouldn't go feet first. They should go head first over it backwards. You seen how they go, yeah? I would collapse. Yeah. So that's what he discovered. Everyone else laughed and ridiculed while he worked on an unorthodox way to jump over the high bar. Critics dubbed his method the Fosbury Flow. Yeah, these are critics. Yeah, he's not done it and failed, but they're already labeling it. Yeah, they're already calling it the Fosbury Flow. Imagine. So, but with time, he flopped over the 7 feet. You can imagine how they felt. Recently, an East German jumped 7 feet 8 inches. What? 7 feet 8 and 3/4 inches. Whoa, that's crazy. Back in 1956, 15 feet was thought to be the limit for a good pole vault. In 1956, then someone discovered that a fiberglass pole gave a higher lift than a conventional pole. So a Polish athlete with a pole vaulted 18 feet 11 and 3/4 inches. 19 feet would be the next record. You see, initially it was 15 feet. Okay. And perhaps sometime down the road, it will get to 20 feet. Why? Because someone broke the record. And if nobody had ever tried, that was a giant that they killed, right? Uh, that's what can happen every day in your life. No matter what your ministry is, the moment you begin to know those giants down, people will say we can do that too. So it's doable. Ah, okay. I can also do it. You see? Yeah. And off they go to conquer their giant. It gives them permission and it gives them confidence. Right? Yeah. So some of the lessons we've learned from David's encounter with Goliath are that we fail not because of big problems, but because of small purposes. Deep. That's deep. Not because of big problems, but because of small purposes. Our failures are not caused by giants. Goliaths don't defeat us, small purposes defeat us. So it's not that thing that's there, shining on you and threatening and everything that is what is the issue. That's not what defeats us. It's because your small purpose, your small thoughts, your small goals tell you it can't be done. So that's what defeats you. You know, that's the thing that causes us to get defeated. We kind of jinx ourselves, yeah? We usually have to charge Goliath by ourselves, run to the issue. It's not easy, by the way, but that's what we have to do. Run to the issue. Don't expect a whole crowd of people to go with you. No, you're not going to have a whole, no, yeah, don't expect a whole crowd of people to gather around you, waving banners and patting you on the back. Whoever steps out first will step out alone. I love that. I love that. Small successes lead to greater successes. Begin to have some victories over small things in your life. Make every day a victory over something. Let every day conquer something and then build a track record of success. Yeah. So take a few minutes to consider these points that came from David and then go meet your giants, guys. Go meet your giants. Come on in, share me out if you can. Angie, did you share me out already? You guys, let me leave you with some music. I'll be back. Be right back, guys. That sun, my goodness. Oh, the sound. I think this noise might be too much for the bees. Come in, guys, check me out. How's the weather where you guys are? Yeah, it's raining quite a lot. The rainy weather here is in. I'm streaming from Kenya, by the way. Come on in, come on in. You're welcome, guys. But I'm going to have to go in. We're going to continue indoors because when it gets this hot, first of all, it's becoming uncomfortable, and then secondly, it is the bees will soon be here harassing us. So I want to leave with a bit of dignity before they go crazy and have to dash off like some crazy person. what have you guys got planned for the holidays, for the Christmas vacation? Have you guys closed yet? Is it still too early? What's the date? It's still early. It's mid-month. There are 10 days to Christmas, right? So what are your plans? Are you traveling? Do you guys got planned? Um, I'm going to stay with my mom. As you guys know, she's been unwell, so I think we're just going to all go and crowd over there and just keep her company. Make her, at least have family with her, because right now we don't know what's happening here in the country, because there are rumors of the lockdown coming back. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. This week has been a little bit, yeah, many opinions going on. So I don't know. Anything can happen. But that's not really so much the thing. Generally, as a rule of thumb, I like to travel. I like to be away from home, go and have a different, kind of scenery. But this time, since I'm going to be around, because of all these many things that have happened, who is even traveling now? You know? Yeah. So because of that, I think if I'm going to be restricted here, the best place or thing I can do is spend time with mom. Yeah, so I think that's what we guys are going to do. We're just going to go and cook and overeat and just thank God for life, family, you know? Yeah, that's what I see happening. It's still early, it's not something we've planned, but generally, I don't see anyone having any major plans, so I guess that's what we'll do. Guys, I think we're going to relocate into the house now. Um, I'll first take the chair and then come and yeah, okay. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're still together.